Negar Ali-Kline's career has included Here Comes the Night, Life After Beth, Land of Dreams, and All American. But she's here now to talk about the smash hit Netflix series Nobody Wants This. Uh, just I guess starting off, a contemporary series set in Los Angeles about ostensibly very cool people, cooler certainly than me as a viewer. What were your main goals in like costuming the show and like kind of like overall, like what were your initial goals, I guess?
Hi, yes. So I had heard about this project. I had read about um Aaron Foster making, creating this show that was originally called Shiksa. And I just thought that was such a, sort of great, brilliant concept. So I reached out to one of the producers and they sent me the script. And I read the script and just connected to it immediately. I mean, I felt, like I had to do this project, which is very rare. I mean, I don't know that I've ever felt like that actually, having read something. So I, prepared the boards and asked for a meeting and we had a, really great first meeting where it was pretty obvious that Aaron and I shared a lot of the same references and that we were, very aligned in the way that we saw these characters. For me, I grew up in LA. I knew this world so well. I knew these characters they just jumped off the page for me, not just Joanne and Morgan, but really all of the characters, Noah's family, Bina, Noah's brother, Sasha. I felt like I had, people in my life that, that were very similar. So I really, my inspiration was LA and I wanted to show LA in a very authentic way. And so that was, I would say, definitely a goal at the very beginning, starting off.
So then, how did you show LA in an authentic way? Because I feel like it does. I'm in New York, so I don't know, but it felt very authentically LA. And I guess how'd you kind of pull that off in the costumes and their wardrobe and stuff?
Yeah, well, the inspiration, I mean, it was like my friends, family members, Noah's family, they're immigrants from Russia. I'm very familiar with the sort of immigrant culture here in LA, being Iranian and Armenian. And so I really just drew inspiration from people around me. I included a lot of LA designers when I was, putting together the looks, especially for Morgan and Joanne. And we definitely had some like little moments of like the Casa Vega t-shirt, where if you are from LA or have spent time here, you know that that's a restaurant in Studio City where, most people are familiar with, that live here. So yeah, using a lot of LA designers and sort of basing it on people that I knew.
So with like Joanne, obviously, it's based
Yeah.
on Erin like as the character, right? And then also you have. I guess I was thinking this like you have Erin has her own style, right? Very fashionable, probably in real life, obviously. Kristen Bell has her own style, and then the character has to have her own style. And I guess how did you kind of blend all of that together? I guess and think about it. I guess like how much of it is like oh we just want to be like we should make Kristen look like Erin here, or like no Joanne would wear this even if Kristen and Erin wouldn't. I guess like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was definitely something that we were always trying to, reconcile. Um, yeah, since this was based on Aaron's life, it was, though the costumes weren't exactly what something Aaron would wear, they had the spirit, I feel, right? So they definitely, it was, through her point of view, the entire world. And with Kristen, I mean, she's so collaborative. She has amazing instincts, truly. I mean, in every single fitting, she would come in and knew exactly what would work for her character. And so, yeah, I mean, we kind of drew from Kristen's, she had input and certainly Aaron had input. But both of them were very open also, to allowing me to pull in designers and brands that, maybe they weren't familiar with. And so we kind of created it together, really. Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. I want to ask too about Noah's look. Obviously, love Adam Brody. Always loved him since the OC, so he looks great. And I guess I was like, the character is like the hot rabbi. So I'm like, that's like a high bar, I guess, in somebody's head. Played by Adam Brody, very handsome man. How did you kind of like think about like what the hot rabbi would look like, and how aware would he be of his own wardrobe? I guess like how important are clothes to that character, or like how he looks? I guess like in terms of like what he's dressing as day to day. Like how'd you kind of think about that?
Well, I don't think fashion was important for Noah, right? Like he wasn't trying to make a fashion statement, but I think what was important to him were sort of, that the pieces were classic and, of quality. Like a lot of the fabrics that we used for him were like beautiful cashmeres and wools, like organic fabrics, honest fabrics. I sort of set out with a color palette for Noah and his family versus Joanne and her world. So Noah's world was sort of, jewel tones, and we use this like red throughout, like this maroon rather throughout his world and his family. And we also spoke a lot with Rabbi Leader, who is a former rabbi of Wilshire Temple here in LA, and sort of, chatted with him about, we just wanted to make sure that we got all the sort of nuanced things right with his character and made sure those were correct in terms of when he's addressing his congregation, when he would be wearing a tallit, when he would not be wearing one. Or, I mean, very early on, we actually had, in one of the scripts, we had a Shiva that later didn't make it in, but, thinking about that scene, we want to make sure that we got all of those, pieces correct in terms of, all the cultural things. So we had Rabbi Leader to guide us, which was really helpful.
You mentioned the cultural things. That's another thing. I think, and I think Aaron's talking about this, how it's like showing like a modern spin on Judaism that maybe is not familiar to people watching, like who are watching, right? Like, or like maybe haven't been exposed to the culture as much as maybe they should have. I guess like how much care did you take to in terms of that, like with the whole community, not just like with Noah and stuff, but like with the background actors and all these different things, like especially in those temple scenes or like at the bat mitzvah, like how much care did you think about like how you're dressing all those people to make it feel like truthful to the community, I guess.
Oh, so much. I mean, the funny thing about this was like, or like the ironic thing was my son just turned 13 last year. And at the same time, he was, on his bat mitzvah circuit, we were filming, Nobody Wants This. And so I was, dropping him off at these bat mitzvahs, and just like looking at what all the girls were wearing and what, the parents were wearing so that I could just do my research there. So it was really, I mean, it was so nice to have that actually. So yes, we took, a lot of care, and, there are different things about being, Russian and Jewish versus American and Jewish. And so we wanted to make sure that we incorporated all those sort of subtle things with Noah's family. And yeah, I think we tried to be as authentic as possible, given the sort of like, as Luca said, time parameters and all the rest. But yeah, very mindful of that.
You mentioned, I love the bar mitzvah too, because I think that Miriam's custom T-shirt, I just love pizza, apple, Jewish star equal Miriam. I just thought that
That's
was
right.
the best. It's just hilarious. I
Well,
thought
the hoodie, I mean, the hoodie is like that is just the thing at all the bar mitzvahs, the customized hoodie. So we had to make sure to have that because that is very much a thing. And yeah, Miriam's dress, I mean, that was really fun to make. That was a piece that I custom made for the show. And also Morgan's dress for that episode was something that I made. So I always love an opportunity to custom make something, for a contemporary show that's not as frequent, but yeah, it was fun to do.
very fun to watch as well. I guess I want to ask you, you mentioned Sasha before. His looks are just the best. I think they're just so unique, I guess would be the description I would use.
Yeah.
How did you think of him overall? And his style is just it was like, oh, I've never seen anything like this. Basically, I don't even know. I was like, oh my God,
Oh,
his whole
that's
style
so
is
funny.
great. So I guess how'd you kind of think about him as a character?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know this guy, right? In LA. Well, so there's a casualness that's sort of like, is just very, in LA, there's like a casualness that permeates menswear, right? So you'll see guys wearing hoodies or sneakers, but these hoodies cost like, they're very expensive. They're wearing like, not quite hype beast, right? Like these limited edition sneakers or, just very expensive fleece pullovers. And so we sort of thought of him like that. I mean, he's kind of like a bit of a man child, right? He's kind of in his brother's shadow. He sort of talks a lot throughout the season about like, let's go take a gummy, a weed gummy. Or so we wanted him to have this sort of like playfulness in his wardrobe as well. And so, yeah, we kind of went to these streetwear brands for him. And I thought it worked so well. I mean, Tim was such a good sport about it. He came in, I don't know what he expected in his first fitting, but we had just like a rack of, these oversized hoodies and bright sweaters and Stone Island cargo pants. And he just immediately got it. And he was such a fun actor to work with because he just totally embodied that, that character so well. So he was really fun to, sort of put together. Yeah.
I also wonder if it helps because he's so tall. He's just he looks so big on screen and he's wearing these clothes.
Ernesto knows. Yeah. He's quite tall.
Yeah.
And, and he came in that first fitting, he came in with his own beanie. We just thought that was so great for the character. So we kind of kept that throughout. He's quite tall. And that's why I think he kind of looks those clothes suit him well too, so that ended up working out really nicely.
Yeah, I think so. And I guess so before coming back for season 2, already can't wait. Watch burn through the whole episodes. I'm can't wait for season 2. I guess have you already started thinking about where things might go in season 2 and what you're hoping to do?
Yes, I am thinking about things already, right? I mean, the thing about Joanne for me was that I really wanted to hone her personal style, right? So she has this flexibility in her style and she kind of dresses differently for the different environments that she finds herself in, or the different situations rather that she finds herself in. But she has a very distinct personal style, right? As most women do at that age and stage of their lives. They've kind of have their uniform down. They know what they like, they know who they are, and they know how they want to sort of present themselves to the world. So it's not going to shift dramatically. I mean, of course, we don't know what she's going to be going through in season 2, but I can't imagine that her style is going to shift dramatically. But definitely thinking about what she'll be getting into for season 2.
Nice. Negar Ali-Kline, costume designer for Nobody Wants This. You can watch all the episodes on Netflix. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.